this episode, I'd like to share one of my very earliest encounters with Education for Life. It comes from the second chapter in the book. Chapter is called Education Should Be Experiential, Not Merely Theoretical. And the quotation is going to give us the big picture, and then I'll give you a very simple application. For education to prepare children for meeting life realistically, it should encourage them to learn from life itself, and to view with skepticism a body of fixed knowledge that has been passed on unquestioned from one generation to the next. Education must above all be experiential and not merely theoretical. The student should be taught, among other things, to observe the outcome of any course of action, and not to depend blindly on the claims of others as to what that outcome is supposed to be, and therefore will be. And this simple emphasis on direct experience, not only as regards the investigations of science, but even more so as it applies to the humanities, lie the seeds of a new and revolutionary system of education that I have named here, Education for Life. So, again, a simple application. How do you make education experiential? I was teaching in second grade. This was in a public school. And I was assigned, different curriculum to work with. And in the social science, there were these set of books that I was given to teach social science with. And basically the idea was to study about the community. So there was a chapter on the policeman, there was a chapter on the post office, there was a chapter on the fireman. And there were questions at the end of the chapter, and what I was told to do was to get the children to read the chapters and then to be able to answer the questions at the end of the chapters, and that they had understood the material. So I was a new teacher at this point. This is my first year of teaching, and so I started trying. So I handed out all the textbooks. The children were second and third graders, so they're 7- and 8-year-olds. And I said, okay, we're going to read the chapter on policemen. And we tried, and everybody was just bored to tears. I mean, it was so dry and so dead, and nobody was interested in reading it. But I thought, well, this is what they're supposed to do, so I pushed ahead. And next day we come up, and okay, we're going to do the chapter on the post office, and people are already, just like, oh no, just they're rolling their eyes. But so I started it, and I think I was maybe reading the chapter with them. And I look up, and in the back of the room, I see these two girls that are passing notes to each other, which is a common thing that happens in classes. And I thought, my first response was, oh, they're disobeying. And then something caught me, and I just thought, oh, wait a minute, what are they doing? They're passing notes. They're exchanging communication. And we're reading this chapter on the post office, and nobody's interested in it. But these girls are interested in sharing their notes with each other. So I closed the book, and I looked at the two girls, and I said, I see you're passing notes. And they both went, oh. And I said, do you have a stamp? And they look, what? And I said, do you have a stamp? And they said, you see, in this book here we're reading it, in a post office, you have to have a stamp. And they said that they didn't have a stamp. And I said, well, let's have, and then we just got into this, and I said, let's all design stamps. And and then we'll have a period of time where we can pass notes back and forth to each other. And it worked. They got so excited. They got into designing their stamps, and then putting them on the posting. And I saw the enthusiasm for actually doing the activity of sharing messages rather than reading about the post office and what happened. So I thought, let's just go with it. And I just kept exploring this idea over the next few weeks and months. And we ended up creating what we called Town Class. And that was their name for it. They called it Town Class. And that was their favorite period of the whole school day. They would ask me, when are we going to do Town Class? When are we going to do Town Class? And we just kept expanding. So, from the fact that we had stamps, well, stamps cost money. And so you can't have a stamp unless you have some money. So you have to have a way to earn money. So how can we do that? So we started creating our currency and paying people, like we were paying people in the class currency for sweeping the floors or for washing the windows or anything that we could think of that needed to be, or delivering the mail. If you were the mailman, you got paid. And then, of course, there were other things that came up, food came into the picture. We started being able to, we had a little grocery store and people could use their money to buy food. And we just kept expanding it to cover, and we covered almost all of the aspects of community that were in this textbook. But we did it experientially rather than just reading about it. And it was my training, and always look for ways to do that in education. Anytime you have a chance to take it out of the textbooks and put it into practice, try it out, and the kids love it that way.